right, everybody, welcome back to the show. We are so happy you decided to spend some time with us once again. This time on this episode, we have a super awesome guest. Kyle Berry joins us again to talk about his escapades in Europe and, of course, the ML Kings and the overall state of paintball. But before we get into the episode with Kyle and everything, of course, I have to tell you about the companies that keep us going. And the first one is Zana Sportsman. They, of course, are there for all your custom jogger and jersey needs, as well as some pre-made jerseys and things of that nature. Of course, soft goods, t-shirts, hoodies, sunglasses, hats, stickers, microfibers, you name it. Zana Sports carries it. And if you would like to purchase anything, their website is diazanasports.com, and the code is always overshot, and you'll get 10% off everything you get in your cart. Their stuff is awesome. I wear their shirts all the time. The overshot shirts are from them, and they're just a great company that have been with us for a long time. So definitely go check out Dizana. And the next company I'm going to tell you about is Volcano. Their gear bags are the best. They're backpacks. They're not roller bags. They go on your back, or you could carry them, and they're just really great, man. They hold plenty of your stuff. People always like to complain like, oh, they're not as big as a roller bag, but also when the event rings, you're not dragging your gear bag through any mud or any of that kind of whack stuff. So their website is volcanousa.com, and the code there is overshot10, and you'll get 10% off your bag or their shirts. They have tech tees and cloth t-shirts also. All their stuff is sick. I have one of each of theirs, and I enjoy it immensely. And it's hard for me to pick my favorite because they're like children. You're not supposed to have a favorite. But my man Eric at Evil Gerbil is someone's products I've been personally supporting for a long time. He makes the best head game in the game. I mean, all the stuff is handmade, denim. I mean, he's getting fabrics from all over the world shipped to him, and he makes them all by hand, man. And Eric is just truly an awesome guy and very nice and an awesome dude in paintball in general. And their website is evildurablepaintball.com, and if you use code overshot, you'll get 10% off your wrap, your band. They also do jerseys, bounce caps. I mean, they have a ton of stuff on their website. And if you are new to this program and you have not subscribed, rated, or reviewed this on any of the platforms that we have, I would please encourage you to do that. It helps us out a ton, especially if you listen through Apple Podcasts. If you give us a nice 5-star review and a 5-star rating and a review, it really does help us out. So we would appreciate that. Before I keep yapping on, let's go talk to Kyle. My actual computer crashes in the first minute of this, so I actually drop out for the first 10 minutes, but I come back. You get a lot of Waldo and Kyle talking to that good talk. And I'll see you guys in the episode. Take it easy, guys.
Man, so everybody, welcome back to another episode of Overshot, a Paintball Podcast. We're lucky enough to have Kyle Berry, fresh off playing in Europe for the Gladiators, or maybe I'm not saying it fully right. Maybe, their Italian name, but I know it's Slava. I know it's Kyle's on the team, a longtime friend of mine. So Kyle, go into this past event. And I know you guys go over the past 2 Europe events with them, and then go into your time with ML Kings this season.
Yeah, man. I mean, it was awesome. They call it Gladiatoria, probably because it's Italian. Yeah. They have the dopest chant. I mean, it gets you amped up, honestly. It's just like that old school Spartan thumping. But it's a totally different playing over there than playing in the U.S. And still doing the same thing, right? The whole focus is just growing the good of the sport, helping develop the right way of playing the sport that, I've kind of formulated now over the last decade of working with the whole East Coast teams and trying to share that over there with the European teams. And it's two totally different balls, man. We got 4 pods over there. We were playing, you watch some of these pro level European teams and it's like, hey man, you couldn't hang in D2 in the US. And I'm a blunt guy. Like if anybody knows me, they know
Right.
I'm an asshole, but I'm an asshole in a way to support people. I want to be nice to people. I want to make people better. And the only way to make someone better is for them to know the true and honest where they stand. And honestly, a lot of those teams don't really stand a chance. But then you got like Breakout Spa, you got Lucky 15s, you got a handful of teams that can really, really compete and go toe to toe. And fight a good game out there. And especially with 4 pods, man, it's a whole different story. I have been lucky enough to have Slava and Paya, an old ML Kings player, on my squad for the last 2 events. But besides those 2 players, I've had different guys in the roster each event. So the first event we had, it's been difficult. It's been difficult. The first event, at least I had an English guy. I had one English guy on the B side who had a good accent, but I could understand him fine. And then this Russian kid named Bulldog, which I couldn't get a word out of in English. And then one Italian kid that spoke good English. That one was pretty good. We got third place in Germany, the first event, did real well. Right. And then we come into England and I lose all 3 of those guys. We pick up 4 Polish dudes that really were nice dudes. They could play the game of paintball, but they could play the game of snap shooting and running gunning. They did not know the game of paintball. So it was a big evolution for them, that our communication, our style, our zoning structures, the understanding of the game. It was a big learning curve for them. And we still competed. We went 3-1 in the prelims, did real well. And then lost that first match versus Lucky 15s in the morning, which was a bit of a heartbreaker. But much love to those guys. They had a huge local crowd, a lot of people supporting them. Yeah, man, they really did. And they were playing, I don't know if I'm supposed to swear on here or not, but I can't help it on this one. They were playing balls to the wall, man. I mean, just the secondary Dorito guy would be in that can on the back line. The first Dorito guy would die at, I'd say, like the D2, and the Dorito can just launches right to the Dorito 4. I mean, just running, going hard. And nonstop pushing pressure and putting paint back in their face. They weren't the best formulated team when they were doing it, but the constant pressure and the fact that all 5 of the guys had the same ideology of going forward and going to win put them into the finals. And, they just lost to Breakout Spa in the finals for first and second. So much props to them. Big props for Breakout Spa for winning the event. Jesse Stevens played lights out for them. Lights out. And then, that's been the Europe tour. It was great to see the people over there after so many years. I haven't been over in Europe since 2017 when I played with Tortugas. So to see those guys and to reconnect with the European paintball is amazing. Like Jamie Beadle and Kelsey, those 2 guys over there in England are huge. I'm huge friends with them. 2 amazing players. I think he's the best player in England. I think Wheeler would argue, and some of the Lucky 15 guys would argue with me, but huge fan of those guys. It's just unfortunate to see the decline in the performance, the decline in the amount of people. The events have only been pro only, so they've been very, very small. Luckily enough, this last event was combined with the CPPS event. And we saw a good amount of local players that came out, but there was probably 30 to 40 local guys playing the league, maybe more than that. Maybe I'm undermining it a bit, but not what we're seeing here in the U.S. COVID was actually, the COVID time was great for paintball here in the U.S. We were booming. Like, look at your league. You know what I mean? Right. Absolutely knocking it out of the park now. But in the European market, it was definitely not the same. I mean, it slowed down. They haven't had the engagement. They haven't had the amount of people playing, and it's unfortunate to see, but same European energy, man. Everyone's loving it. Everyone's enjoying the game. And, my big hope is that it really can grow and develop and come back to a prominent sport over there. Yeah. On the other side, ML Kings, man. ML King, my pride, my joy, my baby, my everything. I've been putting a lot of love into the ML Kings, and the whole team has really come and shown out since World Cup of last year. We got 4 Sundays in a row now. World Cup, first event of Florida this year, made Sunday in Texas, made Sunday in Philly. And we're right on that bubble of success, real success, a top 4 finish, a winning events finish. The big defying factor there is just the consistency from the young guys, right? The consistency and the intelligence from the young guys. It's difficult to get guys that don't really want to play a certain way to perform consistently at a pro level that Charlie and I have the expectations of them to do, right? Sometimes they pull it off some points and they're perfect. They hit their shot off the break. They communicate well. They work off each other. We have zoning structures. We're moving as a unit. And then the next point, something a little bit of a stray happens and communication dies. And the team goes quiet and everyone tries to do it by themselves. And you can really see it from our matches that, I was talking to Maddie in England, and he's like, "You guys are a real fast team." And I go, we're not fast. We just believe the game is won with aggression, right? There's teams that are much faster than us and they just run through gaps, right? We play a very strong if-then game. If this happens, then we do this. If this player shoots this way, then we go this way. If this player goes here off the break, we go there. So it's not so much we play a fast game. We play a structural game that involves us taking ground, It involves us with aggression, involves us moving forward to win the points. And it looks fast. It looked fast in the webcast. Like, when you're watching on TV, it definitely looks really quick, but hopefully it's entertaining. You know what I mean? That's what I'm hoping for all the viewers, all the fans. I'm hoping that have the most entertaining games in the NXL period. And that's really the goal. I mean, Dynasty has won the last 4 events. I'm not going to count Texas, with that blind layout. I'm going to say they won the last 4 events. And they win in the perfect old man style. And I told I kind of hinted at this to Marcel. I didn't say it black out, but they're playing such a well-oiled, team-oriented game. They have these frontline killers with the few young guys. But if you watch Sunday ball, it's for the Dynasty specifically. It's normally Spica playing the front snake, which he's back, baby. He's back.
He's back.
Sorry, my computer crashed. If you're not on YouTube, you probably don't know that, but I'm back, baby.
Back. We were just talking about, I just went through all of Europe, and now we're getting into the ML Kings and the differentiation. We're just talking about how Dynasty has had their success lately, right? 4 wins in a row. I mean, incredible performance across the board since they've gotten Archie. Yeah, I don't think so. Yeah, I don't think the Dragon's going anywhere.
They're getting better with age, like one.
Right?
Well, I think they brought in a factor of Archie Monomer, who has the same mentality as Greenspan and Marcella, which is a very intellectual-based paintball game. But he plays a lot like what I would like to play, which is an intellectual game focused around aggression. An intellectual game focused on moving forward. An intellectual game focused on closing the point the way Ollie would want us to close the point back in 2007, 2008. Yeah, I always watch those old school NXL videos of Ollie Lang commentating when he used to be on the Ironman back in the day, and you could hear him. At the end, there's one guy left. He goes, "Stab him, bunker him. What are you doing? Why aren't you bunkering? Why aren't you closing the point?" He had a very structured mentality of how to win points and how to close points correctly as a unit, and how to make that exciting at the same time for the viewers. So I believe that I'm trying to emulate that attitude with the Kings. I believe Archie does the same thing. I believe Greenspan kind of emulates the same thing. And then Marcelo is just that quarterback who's putting it all together. I mean, he was doing it in Germany as well. He didn't make it to England, but in Germany, he was the same guy. The dude was standing over a mini W, just knew where all 5 dudes were, picking them off one by one, right? So the combination there of using like Blake Yarbrough as an attacker up the middle, Kyle Spickett down the snake side, and Dalton Vanderbilt down the Dorito side, and having that core 3 or core 4 constantly using an intellectual-based game where they're working off each other, understanding the full field, and able to close as a unit. It's a very dangerous game. Very dangerous game. I'm looking to do the same exact thing with ML Kings, just take off 10 years. You know what I mean? Get some young blood in there, get some fast guys in there, take Kyle Spica. I have a very mimicking player of Kyle Spica. I have a Connor Donaldson, my young 22-year-old 5'2" snake player. I think he's 5'4". I think I'm undermining him a little bit, but he's a real short guy running the snake, very hard to hit, but extremely accurate, right? And while Kyle Spica is in the position of thinking about how to intellectually break the game, I'm trying to take a young player like Carter and figure out how to physically break the game with intellect in the back end. So I want him high diving over lanes. I want even if it was Dave Baines in the home shooting the lane for the snake and it was just a perfect lane, I want my guy to dive over it. So it doesn't matter how good the lane is, we can still make it to whatever bunker we want to make it, especially for the fact, I don't know if you guys have heard this, but Chicago is all bright shelled paintballs. Tom Cole told me that in England. I'm stoked.
Okay.
We'll make a way better show.
Yeah.
Not even just a show. Let me be an athlete. Let me dodge it. Let me play Matrix, baby. Let me play this game where I can see the paintballs and you can see mine. And let's see who actually beats us with an upper hand instead of a black ball flying in the air and just nicking me randomly. You know what I mean? Like
right.
These bright shell balls would give us the athleticism and give us the ability to actually dodge paint again, which is going to be a whole different ballpark, man. Super excited for it. But
not even think about the slow-mo clips that everybody loves with the bright shell paint. It's going to make them look so much better.
And it's going to look incredible, man. I think they're going to finally realize what we've been talking about for the last 3-4 years now of like, why did we get dark shell paintballs in the first place? Like, let's focus in on the value of what we're trying to bring. A lot of times I think Tom Cole, because he's done this for so long, I shouldn't say Tom Cole. I talk Tom Cole all of England. I love Tom Cole. He is the man. He puts a lot on his shoulders. I think us as an industry, we sometimes, because we have constantly fought to just stay alive, I think sometimes we forget that this is an entertainment facility. That we do this for entertainment. We do it for entertainment personally, but to sell it to people like mom and dad watching TV, to get someone to watch this regularly, it has to be entertaining. It has to be enjoyable. And if I can get every other parent to tell me that this is enjoyable, there will be t-shirts sold, there will be merchandise sold, there will be tickets sold. We will make money as an industry. And I think sometimes we forget about that,
Oh, 1,000%. It's like even as on a smaller scale, like my girlfriend just started playing. She played 3 times, but she enjoys Ghost Sports now because she gets it more.
Mm-hmm.
Before she didn't. She was like, I don't really understand like what's happening. Like what am I watching? But now that she's got it, she's like, oh. So I think if they do a better job, like it'll be more entertaining. You get more people.
I think it's they do not have a focus. They don't have a focus on like what the sales point is. So I run a marketing agency, right? I work with 35 different clients right now with my agency, and then I have a bunch of different clients I consult for outside of that. And a lot of times we'll get off the topic of what the actual goal is of the business, right? You'll start talking about, hey, I need more people to see my advertisements. I need specific ads that look this way, or I need to present myself in this type of light or in this type of situation where it doesn't really matter. You just want customers. Right. You know what I mean? Right. All of these comments are just because you want customers to join, and this is your assumption of how to get customers. I think we're such deep into the assumptions of how to do paintball correctly, we forget that we're here to entertain. You know what I mean? Like, I think if we focused in on the entertainment, we wouldn't have had this null that we had for the last 4 or 5 years of less people getting bunkered, less exciting action, less things happening. If you guys been playing for a long time, just like me, if you remember back in like 2008, 2009, last dude was getting bunkered religiously.
Oh yeah.
Every time. It doesn't happen anymore. Why? You know what I mean? Now you have 3 guys that will stand at the 50 and just shoot at him until the guy dies, like he makes an error and dies like an idiot, right?
Right.
Where back in the day it was, okay, the Dorito 50 and the Snake 50, you shoot at him, and me as the middle guy, I'm going to sprint and take this dude's ear off. You know what I mean? And it was I don't know if it was focused on the entertainment. I don't know if it was focused on aggression. I don't know if it was focused around a position of anger. No idea. But I know for a damn fact it was way funner to watch.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
I agree 1,000%. I mean, I'm like you, like in the end, like when I hear like, left corner only, I'm like, oh, I'm going to get him. I'm going to get so I don't know.
Dude, I get tingles.
Me too.
I get tingles, man. I can hear Ollie's voice in the back of my head just saying, stab him, stab him, stab him, put on a show.
Yeah.
And listen, there's different types of show. I think like the NYX guys are a great example. They're all brothers. I mean, raised me brothers, right? I love them to death, but they put on a show in a level of kind of like a disrespect. I think the show should happen to not put down the other team. You can leverage that. You can psychologically mess with the guy a little bit, give him a little extra, get in his ear a little bit. But your show is not when NYX plays Houston Heat, they're not putting on a show for Houston Heat. At least they shouldn't be. They're not putting on a show for Houston Heat. They're putting on a show for the VIP. They're putting on a show for the stands. They're putting on a show for all the people. They're putting a show on for every single person that bought a $5 NYX t-shirt. You know what I mean? Like, that's who they're putting a show on for. And I think sometimes we get away from that. We forget that in this industry. And it's just a matter of time. I think, like I said, the Bright Shell paint will bring it right back to us being able to see what's going on. I think that it's going to be just I call it the change of guards. We were talking about this before we started, but let's talk about the change of guards. And it's not so much of like Tom Cole and Bart Yakomek leaving paintball. It's more of like, who is their successor? Who is the person that's, who's the guy that, spent 10 years putting together a podcast and now has a great following and a great engagement and understand how to talk to people and what people really want. And then they come and be the next commentator on Go Sports. Right? And Maddie's done an incredible job. Don't get me wrong, but
Maddie's good, yeah. But once he's been the voice of paintball for
forever,
15 years, man.
I think Rich Telford needs to go
though.
Rich is funny. Rich. I will not stand for this on my podcast. I love Rich. I
don't think that's the role for him.
Rich is I think Rich has gotten so involved now because of NYX, because of how much emotion and energy he's putting in NYX, that he is doing a lot of scouting when he's up there and he's talking, right? He's doing a lot of, he's not doing so much of commentating the game to give it back to the viewers. He's viewing the game as a coach, which he should be because he's the coach of NYX, right?
Right.
So he's viewing the game as a coach, which puts him in a position where he is in a way biased. He'll become biased. I don't see it very much from Rich. He makes some comments that are funny here and there. But I've had one-on-ones with Rich Telford, and this guy's a genius. I mean, this guy knows the game very, very well. And I think that if he had the opportunity to just talk about it openly, we would hear his perspective and ideology of how it should be played by the situations given and presented, that we would all be mind blown. We'd all have to sit back and be like, damn, yeah, I didn't even know you were supposed to play paintball this way. And Rich is like, yeah, this is second nature. This is how it's supposed to be done. You know what I mean?
Right.
So there's a Rich and Maddie are doing a great job. Tom's doing a great job. All the guys, yeah, think about it. We're in 2022. We're shooting fully automatic paintball markers. We're playing in national events. Yeah, every paintball player wants better. Yeah, every paintball player wants more because we've seen Huntington Beach. We've seen the Phoenix Stadium. We've seen Chantilly, right?
Right.
But at the end of the day, they still have something for us, right? Through the recession, through all the negativity, all the crap that's going on, they still got something for us. It's just, I think
they're doing better than ever, you know, like team count wise. So like, I don't know, like running my league, like on a local level, like, you know, people complain and then they're back the next event. And listen, I take all the complaints as much as I can, but at a certain point in time, it's like some of it's stupid, honestly. So and it's like, you know, paintball players shooting themselves in the foot. It's like listen, if you play a layout and you don't like the layout, okay, and then you want to complain about it, okay, whatever. I don't mind that. But saying a layout's been out for weeks when it's been out for 5 days. So like I use the Dallas layout. I used the Dallas layout. It was blind. It came out
crazy
on Friday.
mirror field.
Yeah,
the crazy mirror field.
Yeah. So on Friday it came out. I dropped on Wednesday. I was using it. On Wednesday. I was like, all right, layout drop. This is what we're using. And everyone was like, this shit's been out for 5 weeks. And I'm like, no, it's been out for 5 days. Yeah. They're like, I already played it. And I'm like, they're like, this team has an advantage. I'm like, so this team spent $1,000 per person to go out to Dallas to go play this event, and they're literally 5% of players potentially will play this layout. I was like, I get it, whatever. I come from a different time. Like I don't know. Like, well, to me, the shot coming out of a can on an S1, like, all right, a can's a little bit in the way, or Doritos a little bit in the way. Like, to me, it's all the fucking same. But,
right? It's shit in the way of shooting people. That's what I say.
Right.
It's shit in the way of shooting people. But the thing is that we don't have, and this is my, if I get one point across on this podcast that I hope would resonate with people, and I really hope people listen to this. If I get one point across, and this might hurt some feelings, paintball's not that big. Paintball is not that big, and
nobody cares. Your grandma doesn't care.
That's the problem.
That's a lie. My grandma cares immensely.
Yeah, my grandma loves it too.
My grandma thinks it's pinball.
It's pinball. This is the biggest thing that I don't think that we're really looking at, is that we as a community need to care that it's not that big. We as a community need to recognize it's not that big. We as a community need to do something by the fact it's not that big. If we can all come together and say we love what we do, we love the sport, we love the opportunity, we love playing paintball, but we as a community can do better. We as a community can do more. We as a community know how great this freaking sport is. Let's do something together, right? I don't know how the next step of that is, but the first step is the realization. The first step is that the reason we get this negativity, John, is because there's not enough positive people there. There's just such a small pool of people that once one piece of poison drops into the pond, it spreads too much. There's not enough positivity to suck it up and get rid of it, right? And you could be the one positive person that's walking around the event, the happiest man in the world, but you can't drown out all the haters if one person wants to talk about the lack of grass or the color of the paint or the field layout or whatever problem they want to create that day. They're going to create it. I mean, I work with people that I can literally take $500 and make $5,000 for them, and they still find a way to complain. right? So it doesn't really matter how you present something. The negativity will always be there. The thing that we have to do as paintball players realize it's going to be there, and let's outshine that shit. Let's fill it with positivity, and let's show the world the biggest. If you talk to Tom Cole and you talk to some of the top echelon people, it's one of the biggest fears that they have is our social representation of the sport. The negativity that we have on social media on our sport is immense. Philly's a great example. Tom had huge investors at the first Philly event. The negativity that blew up on social media because the grass hadn't grown yet was seen by these potential sponsors, and we did not get these sponsorships because of it. We could have lost $1 million deal. We have no idea. We have no idea what it could have done to paintball if we just stayed positive and support. And it's not saying that's the last chance we have. I'm just saying let's not fuck up the next chance.
Yeah.
Let's do good by this sport by loving it.
We have a history of effing things up.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, we do. That's the funniest thing. This is like God, it's like my love life before my girl I've met today. You know what I mean? Like it's just constantly like you try to do good. At the end of the day, you're just like, damn, that didn't work out. Okay, on to the next one. Let's try to figure out the next big step. And it's tough because we can see this potential light at the end of the rainbow of what paintball could be, right? In stadiums, on TV, the fact that I can watch I can name 15 different sports I can watch in the Olympics and TV right now that are dismal compared to the type of energy, emotion, work ethic, and actual athletic performance that you see in paintball. You know what I mean? Like,
I want to see one of them curling guys trying to make it out to the D corner alive.
Right? While running, gunning, dodging paint. Dude, Klitsky from HK has gotten some incredible videos of him running with the runners, and just to see that, I think a running back on a football team could watch that and be like, "Damn, that's impressive." Right? If you can have an athlete say that's impressive, we should be able to sell it to the world.
Dude, 1,000%.
You know what I mean? That's the way I see it.
Dude, like almost back to where you were saying like a little bit ago, but like that was what my girl really like could see after playing the Washington, like the athleticism on display. Like now that she's running guns to a corner, even though it's just shooting at a target, but now that she's watching it, she's like, oh my God, now I see that dude is actually fast as fuck. Like,
yeah, fast as fuck. And his upper body, he's that fast with no upper body momentum. Upper body's locked, shooting a shot, still running that quick. Some
on point.
You know what I mean? Some of the players, and I said this to Keith Brown. Keith Brown, great friend of mine. I have a huge love for Keith. I sat him down at. Everyone loves Keith. He really is the man. But Keith does not. Keith is just like Alex Goldman. They do not represent themselves on social media. They do not like. We the three of us sitting here right now can all say Keith Brown is the fucking man. Alex Goldman is the fucking man. But I'm convinced by their social media, those two do not believe that they're the fucking man. If they did, they would post way more.
Right, no, for sure. I'm not the man. I probably get more engagement on my social media than theirs.
Right, because you post, they don't. That's all it is. That's it. Those two could single-handedly, one of them could do it.
Yeah.
Could post enough content of their six-pack, their gym workouts, and then paintball on the weekend, completely change the entire perspective of paintball across the world. I said this to Keith last week before I went to England. I go, Keith, I know you don't want to do it. I know you don't feel comfortable with it, but fuck, man, you could literally change our entire sport. You could just go in,
just post
that just consistently post. But the thing is that it's not really his job. How can we put the whole pressure of the entire organization and everything of paintball on his shoulders? I'm just saying you have the potential to do it. You could definitely do it, but we can't put that type of pressure on a single individual. We as a community need to do it better. You know what I mean? We as a community, I love what Pat McKenna, he is the coach of Houston Heat now, was a coach of Damage. He was a coach of Revo. He was a coach of multiple different pro teams. Huge respect for the guy. It was actually my first pro coach outside of Jason Edwards. My first year around Damage was Jason. Second year I had Pat. He has built I believe it's the NEPL. Am I right by saying that?
URPL or something like that, like
Yes.
United Recreational Paintball League or something like
Yes,
that.
and it is a league focused on younger players, unranked players, bringing them in. It's much like the developmental paintball league, the DPL that I developed in Fort Myers 5-6 years ago with the Southern Ridge Paintball Organization. It's much like that, and that's the type of transition that we need in marketing. We talk about funnel stages, right? So if you take like a normal business, even like a restaurant, you take McDonald's, right? Getting someone to purchase a single cheeseburger for 99 cents will get them to one point of what we call value ladder, how much value that customer brings back into the business. Fries and a drink, he goes higher on the ladder, right? Now he gets a McDouble. Now he gets McDouble with the McFlurry if the machine's actually working, right? So like all this money that he puts into McDonald's builds up the value ladder. The thing that most people don't understand is that all of McDonald's, from their marketing to their internal location, is designed to push them up the value ladder.
Right.
It's actually Walmart's the same way. Publix or any supermarket you go to, the reason you have to walk around the path that you have to walk on is designed to influence you to build a value ladder, to get you to buy the most stuff possible, to get you in buying habits as you go through. Paintball has a value ladder that is completely undefined. It's there, but there's not been a system put in place to bring a customer, let's call it, from a position of not knowing what paintball is whatsoever, completely unaware of paintball, to aware of paintball, aware of the benefits and the actual internal aspects that it would bring you if you do this sport, then getting them into a field for the first time, first step of the value ladder, actually getting them on the field. They make the first purchase, say it's a birthday party, whatever it might be, right? And then the next step. So we're pretty good at that step. Paintball fields are doing good, especially after COVID. There's people coming in. We're pretty good at getting them into the ladder. We're really bad at getting them up it, right? Mm-hmm. This right here, from getting to the field to getting to the NXL, completely on you. There's no guidance. There's no support. Hope to God you find PB Nation or when I was a child, it was PB Nation. If I didn't find PB Nation when I was a kid, that forum online, I would never know what I know about paintball. Today it's YouTube and the HK, right. But it wouldn't be very difficult for the field, the initial start of the value ladder, the first person to get a monetary return from paintball is a field. For the field to influence this to the NXL. A lot of fields don't want to do it, though, because they do not look in the long term of revenue. They only look at individual purchase revenue, which means they only care about getting the highest return for the single purchase that will come in. So if a customer comes in, and I explained this to Robert Sims, the owner of Extreme Rage down here in Fort Myers Paintball. If you guys are in the Fort Myers area, absolutely beautiful field. Robert Sims does really, really well with the recreational players, really, really well. But what I try to work with him with the development of the DPL is trying to get him to understand what the lifetime value of a customer could potentially be. Right. So restaurants and other industries, they have enough data to understand how to influence customers to get the highest percentage of people to become lifetime customers within a business. There's an interview with Ty Lopez and I think Robert Dobain. He's like the restaurant rescue guy. They talk about how if you come into a restaurant, you have an extraordinary time. Best time in the world, right? It's perfect. The food's perfect. The customer service is perfect. Everything's perfect. You have a 42% chance on average to come back for a second visit, okay? If that second visit is absolutely perfect, no problems, amazing, it's impeccable, you have a 40% chance to come in for a third visit. So you have 100 people that come in, 42 come to the second time. Out of those 42 people, you're going to get roughly like 16 to 18 people that come back for that third visit, right? If that third visit is impeccable, perfect again, no problems, you then have a 72% chance to come back to that restaurant a fourth, fifth, sixth time. So restaurants. Yeah. Exactly. Restaurants understand my job as a restaurant is not to get you in once. It's not to sell you on a birthday party. It's not to sell you on the first time. My job is to get you in 3 times. I have to put effort as a restaurant owner to get you in 3 times, and then the percentage will do it itself. The average consumer will be in the position to make the right decision and come back to my business without me putting extra marketing dollars and efforts out. Paintball has no freaking idea how many times we need to get a guy back to get him hooked like we are. Like, dude, it's in my veins. It's not going anywhere.
Right.
I no matter how hard I try, I'm way above 72%, right?
Yeah.
I'm at 100% through and through. I'm not going anywhere in paintball. But what got me there? What got you there? What got you there? You know, what got us to the point where it's like, I don't want to do anything else on Saturday and Sunday besides paintball.
Right.
You know what I mean? We're full grown men. We're out there playing a game. You know what I mean? We love it. Absolutely.
I'm coming back, dude. I'm coming back to the game. I'm coming back. I've been, you know, our viewers, most of our viewers know that whenever I cancel, but like, I just, you know, I was my last chemo treatment on Monday, but I was like, I bought a gun. I just bought a gun. I just bought a thing. Like, I'm like,
that's a big deal. If you don't know, it's a big deal.
That's a
better
big
be
deal
a Lux, baby. Better be a Lux.
No, it's a siesta. We're not going there. We're not.
I was trying to point out I shoot a Lux. I mean, just saying.
No, listen. Well, listen.
So Travis shoots people.
Travis
I
like Luxes, whatever, man. I'm gonna be whatever, but
John, you know,
going off what you were saying about, you know, about Fields not doing the greatest job of like an A to Z type of thing. I was just having a conversation with someone, and I was like, so I'm not gonna go and name names or whatever, but like, so, you know, I understand Long Island paintballs get more costly than New Jersey paintball, whatever, but I get a flyer, and this flyer, listen, I've made flyers. You can go download Canva and make a flyer in 10 seconds. It's free, and it looked better than this flyer. This looked like paint or whatever. And then I'm looking at the flyer, and I'm posting it because like I'm like the Long Island guy, like whatever. So I posted this little Long Island speedball players, posted up, and then I'm getting questions and like, how could I charge this? And I'm like, I'm like, delete. I'm like, someone else post this because I can't post it because people think I'm involved then. And then I don't want to put my name to something that's a sub quality product. So it's like $70 plus tax. And I'm like, dude, I can go. I'm like, plus gas is now more expensive. I was like, so that's $100. That's really $100 because I got to go there and back and whatever. So that's $100. I'm like, for a Friday night paintball where I'm shooting one box of paint, and then I'm like, the $100. I'm like, I could take me and my girl, I could take me and somebody out to dinner, $50 each, and I could have a decent time, and I could maybe even get a drink or two. You know what I mean? Like in New York, in Long Island. So I'm like, yeah. I'm like, so to me, that's like you just want to grab my money for that one time, and you don't care if I come back.
Yeah, you know, the margins on paintball fields are good. I've seen the margins. I work with a lot of fields. I've seen kind of the return that they're getting for the dollar spent. And I always bring up Orlando Paintball. Okay, Orlando Paintball is now closed because the property was sold out, not because of performance. They had a Friday night $17.99 special. It came out to like $20 with tax. Kyle Parrish, who now runs the build out for the NXLs, was the field manager there. He built a program that was Friday nights, $17.99. It came with one bag and a rental equipment. Super cheap. Yes, he would have hundreds of people. Yeah. Hundreds of people. And you know what he would do? Each one of those people would get a free entry for the following day where they would come back and have to pay $49.99 for a case of paint. Right? So now he's influencing them at what we call in the marketing world as a hook and offer, right? The hook is the excitement of paintball. The offer is the low cost initial entry into the game, right? They get to come out and play, experience it, and have a good time. And then you have an instant upsell opportunity to get them back in. Their problem was they didn't care about the second and third upsell, which they didn't position themselves as a recreational game that should be played regularly. They positioned themselves as a one-time sporting event for birthdays and holidays and things of that nature, which is wrong. That's not how paintball should be presented. It's the only way we've presented ourselves since the get-go, right?
Right.
Paintball's, why do we all come in for birthday parties? Because paintball is great for birthday parties. No, fuck that. Paintball is great for every weekend.
Yeah,
every
day.
party,
great
every party, every weekend. Like,
Not even every. You want to spend time with your kid?
You
want to go play a sport with your kid? You go out and play baseball. If you go play baseball and your little son throws you a ball and you hit that ball wrong and you knock him in the head with the ball, you're gonna knock that kid out. You go out and play football and you go play with your kid. He might not be able to throw the ball all day. You're playing all day just trying to get him to throw the ball, and it's going to be very difficult. You're not going to do a lot. You go out and play soccer, right? And you go play soccer with your kid. It is completely no matter what sport you play as a grown man versus a child, you have an advantage. You have an advantage. Yeah. I was 13 years old when I bunkered my father in the head. I was 13.
Get out, Pops.
Yeah. Oh, he'll tell you because he used to come to me with the field because I obviously couldn't drive. So he'd come to me with the field. When I first started my first year, I was so scared that if you shot at my bunker, I would hide. I was a fat kid. I was scared. I didn't know what to do. I was playing with Harrison Arzens, 15 balls a second. My dad would come out, and every time I would get bunkered or hurt really bad, like I'd be crying behind my mask. And my dad would be there and he'd be, all right, come on, let's go play some one-on-ones. And he'd beat me in the one-on-ones, but he'd just shoot me one time, right? And he would beat me and beat me. It took me about three or four months before I started drilling, started liking it, really going after it. At this point, I've never seen a paintball video. I was just playing. I was initially playing with a Blade Z2 in the backyard, just going out and shooting from tree to tree, right? I go to a competitive field and I start playing, and I remember my dad tried to pull a move going underneath the X, and I saw it, took off down the D side. He comes back from the other side. I shoot him in the side of the head 3 or 4 times. He never played another point after that. He's never played in the sense. Right.
Shot the paintball right out of him.
He'll still talk about it to this day, but he'll never say the fact that I'm 13. And I tell my dad, I'm like, you got to say that in the story. You have to say the fact that your 13-year-old son beat you in a sport, because any father-son combo, not even father-son, any daughter,
let's try that.
Any kid-parent combo can go out there and as long as you guys have the same amount of fear, if the dad's just as scared as the kid or the mom's just as scared as the kid, you guys have an even playing field. It is an even playing field. That is the one extraordinary sales aspect about the sport that we don't do. If we had commercials going on right now, this is YouTube, right? If I had a YouTube commercial going on, which is roughly cost me about half a penny per impression, 0.5 cent per impression, so 0.5 cent per person that sees the ad. If I had an ad going right now that started off with parents, mother and daughter, father and son, trying to connect. The kids playing video games won't talk to the kid. They're ignoring them. They're not paying attention at dinner. And then you bring them to a paintball field and you see them resonate, connect, play together. Both of them get hurt a little bit, but it's not that bad. They have fun. They enjoy. They're talking about their shots afterwards, smiling and leaving. That ad would resonate so powerfully through the entire community, develop a level of empathy, a level of emotional connection to the game of paintball that would make it such a big deal in the eyes of not the players, of the world. A sport where I truly can connect to my child. It's unheard of right now. It does not exist.
Dude, right, what you're talking about is such a good point that, you could play with your kid. There's no other sport that's really like that where, you could play with your son or daughter. Like you said, soccer, all this intramurals, it's all separated. The parents on the sideline, go, yay. But in paintball, no, tag up. Let's go. Game in 5.
Think if you're a big family, you got a bunch of kids.
Right.
You got a bunch of kids. They're all arguing. Say you got kids that are 12, 13, 14, 16, 17 years old. They're all arguing. You can't find a single thing that you could do together. You go to a jump park or you go to a bowling alley, even a bowling alley. My 17-year-old's whipping 20 miles per hour down the lanes. My 13-year-old can't even get a straight ball. Right. But if I hand them both a paintball gun, they both shoot straight.
Yeah.
They both have the same. Yeah. They both have the same structure to be able to play. The only differentiation is fear. Yeah. How scared are you?
So what's your opinion on gel blasters?
Incredible. I think it's an amazing entry to the sport, and it should be used for 6 to 8 year olds, in my opinion. Okay. Right? 6 to 8 year olds. It should be at every birthday party. It should be. The biggest problem with America that's different than the rest of the world is just our affiliation with actual firearms. right? So the biggest news story that happens all of 2022 is these unfortunate, crazy shootings, which is horrible.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Absolutely horrible.
Yeah.
But the biggest problem is that paintball has not made, and this is the biggest issue. I mean, be very clear. Paintball has not defined themselves in the eyes of the community as not a gun game. We look at everybody. I talked to Jason Trojan at the last event, and he goes, the gun's a big deal. The fact that we have a gun's a big deal. The fact that you let them say that it's a big deal that we have a gun is the problem. I love Jason.
Right.
Through and through, absolutely freaking love this man. I mean, he is an idol from the time he was coaching Philly. He's an idol of mine from when he was playing. Like, the man's amazing. But I've heard that same speech from everybody. I've heard the same concept from everybody.
They're gone.
The problem is we got a gun. The problem is that you haven't walked up to in front of the people and said, this is a paintball marker and this is what you can do with it. This is not a gun. I can't kill you with this. I can't actually put any serious harm to anybody with this. I would have to really have a vicious intent with a paintball gun to do anything bad. And I'd probably hurt you more by grabbing the barrel and hitting you with the tank than I would actually shooting you with the gun. Okay. So why don't we go on stage? Why don't we go in front of these people and go, this is what it is. This is what it's used for. It's used to connect you and your child. It's used to connect the community. It's used to make an incredible sport where it doesn't matter if you're Colt from the PB Fit guys in semi-pro at 350 pounds, or I don't know how much he weighs. He's a big dude. Kid's nasty with it. Sick paintball player.
Yeah.
I got a lot of respect for him. He's sick with it. Doesn't matter if you're this big or if you're a small 95-pound Carter Donaldson at 5'4". It doesn't matter. This is the sport you could play. This is what this does. This is not a bad thing. This is a magical machine that we've created to connect the world, and that's how we should pitch it. No one's gone on stage and said this is what it is. We just let people decide what the gun is, right?
Tell them what it is.
Paintball marker is. Exactly. Let's inform them. UFC came out and everyone said, oh, that's horrible. That's fighting. They go, no, this is mixed martial arts. This is what it is. This will be the most entertaining thing you see on TV. This will be amazing. Watch. That's what they did. They didn't hide it.
Boom.
Right?
Same thing with video games too. Like, you know what I mean? Like now, like, you know, like.
For every person that says video games is bad, you have 100 people now that says, no, I've been watching. They say it's good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Every single person that's like, oh, I think video games might be bad. What are you talking about? They're, esports is making millions of dollars. These kids are having a bunch of fun. Like everyone's having a blast with it. How can you say it's bad when the whole electronic sporting community says it's good? The paintball community is not out there saying this is good. They don't have support. It's Tom Cole up there with a white flag just saying, hey, we're good guys. Can you come help us out? And he doesn't really have that wholehearted motivational support of the rest of the organization. You guys are a great example. You're a huge support. You're a huge support. This podcast right now, what you guys are doing, you might not see it, but every single individual that listens to this podcast is thinking about paintball instead of something else. They're thinking about the development of the sport instead of something else. It leads to people caring more. It leads to people wanting paintball more. The small efforts that we put back into this world around paintball will lead to greater and greater things in the future if we continue to do it in a good light.
Dude, 1,000%. If we can stop acting like we do in the Facebook comments, I think we'll be all right.
You gotta be a lot more positive. You know, I'm a lot more positive. It took some things, but I'm definitely a lot more positive. And I'll always do what I can. And until I own a paintball field, and I'll be the old man picking up trash at my paintball field, loving it, dude. I would love it. To be honest with you, like that's gonna happen one day, but I would love it. Okay, all right, I'm raking the gravel, whatever, I'm throwing out the trash, whatever. Like, I don't care. Like, whatever we got to do to make it happen. But one other thing that I got a charity event coming up, and this is kind of like my thought of it is like, so like last year we had a team, and it was the inspection boys. Shout out the inspection boys, Suffolk County inspection boys. So it was a dad and his sons. They ended up coming in second because I didn't have because it was a charity event, so I didn't have any hard rules. The team, they were playing hopper ball, rental guns, and the other team, shout out to them, they had pod packs. So like, it's like, you know what I mean? So it's a little bit of a difference
a little
there.
bit of disadvantage. A little bit of disadvantage. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but because it was friends of my buddy Edwin. It was the brothers of my buddy Edwin. And listen, I'm glad they won too because the last time those guys played paintball, their brother had a freak accident, a freak heart attack, and passed away. And then the one, and then the one brother, basically he continued on, but they stopped playing this. So this was their first time back. So they ended up winning. But going to the inspection was they had such a good time last time, and the son won a gel blaster. So like I had a raffle, so he was gel blasting up the neighborhood, and anytime I'm at a fair and they're at a fair, we have a booth, the gel blasting booth. So we're another company of mine is Gel Blaster Long Island. So they're all playing out in there, and now this year he sponsored 3 teams. So now he went from 1 team to 3 teams. So slowly but surely, sometimes you see that person, you're like, okay, so like now there's playing the gel blaster, they're coming out to the charity events. These are people. A lot of these people wouldn't normally necessarily play paintball, and they're coming out, and now it's getting those kids to go from, like you're saying, all right, so now they're playing this charity event or whatever. So now it's getting them playing every other week or whatever. You know what I mean? So that's something
you
definitely got to work on.
You never know what it's going to bring in, John. You never know if that charity event is going to bring some young kid that wants to play paintball, right? He brings out his buddy. His buddy goes out and plays. Next thing you know, his dad's a multimillionaire. He's a Bart. He's a Smith, right? He's in a position where he gives back to paintball. I don't think people really understand how these big sports got big. I don't think people have ever looked back into the past. Soccer's old, so it's very hard to see soccer. Yeah. But even if you look at baseball, if you look at football, you look at a lot of these different sports, it was a very small, select few of individuals that made their success outside of the realm of the sport, that saw the potential of the sport and gave back to it, just like what we're seeing with Bart. Just like we're seeing with Randy Smith, right? Mm-hmm. These 2 individuals, we see it with Bo Milo from the NYX organization. He does a lot too. He's really underground. People don't know, but he does a lot for paintball as well. We see it with these individuals. My lights are flickering.
Did we just lose Kyle?
No, we just did. And did he turn into a different person?
Dude, right?
Oh man, so hopefully maybe he'll get back on.
Yeah, we'll give him a couple of minutes because I was really liking what he was saying, especially with some of the stuff about us being like real critical online and stuff like that and growing the game. Like I thought that was spot on, and I really wanted to ask him more about that because he's right. Like it's one thing like for me and you when we're bullshitting on the couch drinking a beer to be critical, but and for the public and stuff, we gotta hold a more united front and talk about how great it was.
Yeah, man. I mean, listen, paintball is, I'm in it, baby. I'm in it, and I'm not doing it. I'm not going to do anything else. Yeah. I got, like I said, I have TSXL. We have this thing Overshot. Woodsboro Tournament Series will be back. Unfortunately, we had to cancel our event this year, but in 2023, we're going to be back with multiple events. And listen, we're always looking for good people. So if you're out there and, I'm putting it all out there. I'm putting it all on red, so to speak. So, you know what I mean? If any good people, your brother, you, whatever, I'm just looking for good people right now. That's all. So, TSXL, Gel Blaster, any of these different things. We got a Gel Blaster event tomorrow. We're going to have Justin Wood's girlfriend. Justin was my partner in Gel Blaster, Long Island. She's been a big help. Timothy Doyle's been a big help, and they're going to be going out and running that event for us tomorrow. on Friday because we have TSXL this weekend. So, and I know you're going to be there with Slug Kings. I know you've been putting in the work with Slug
He's
Kings.
back.
So, he's back.
We're
Sorry
back.
about
Would you lose
that.
power?
Yeah, exactly, dude. My whole house is lit black, man. I'm about to light some damn candles in this bitch. I got 15 candles. I've been waiting to burn these bitches, you know?
No, awesome. No, but like we were saying while you were gone, is that I think you're so right about the Facebook comments and us kind of blurring the lines between constructive criticism and supporting the sport. Because if we say negative things about it, like you said, all it takes is one search of a hashtag on Twitter, and then people see that like we're totally trashing the sport. And why would you get involved in it?
People don't understand who's actually reading it. People don't understand that Tom is out there going to events. He's going and meeting people, and people are learning about competitive paintball for the first time. And then what do? Like the rest of the world, they Google it. They go on Facebook. They go on Instagram.
Twitter.
They look. You know, it's good that if you look up, I'm curious. I haven't looked it up in a while. If I look up competitive paintball, what comes up? First thing is just multiple different YouTube videos, pro paintball, YouTube. I mean, it looks great. Honestly, it looks great across the board on Google. But then you go on the social platforms, right? You go onto a platform and you want to hear people's opinions, because the one thing that a sponsor wants, right? So I have multi-million dollars. So let's say I have $5 million I want to put into paintball, right? What do I want to see to actually invest my $5 million? Right? What would I want to understand about this total sport organization, whatever you want to call it, that would give me comfort that I'm going to get my $5 million back, that I'll be able to actually make revenue off this in the long run? And what I want is true support and dedication from the patrons. What we have right now is just an organization of Patreon paintball players. We have gone through the recession. We have gone through the problems. We have gone through all of these accolades. I mean, John, look at yourself. Look how much stuff you've gone through. You're still here playing paintball. You're still here loving paintball. You are a patron of paintball, right? We want if the people that are the number one supporters are sitting there talking shit, why would I want to put money into it? I don't know if if you're being negative, you might drop out next week. I'm not going to get my money back from you. It's like investing in somebody that's like, I don't really know if I'm going to do good or not, but give me some cash. I'll figure it out. Fuck that. You know what I mean? Like the amount of confidence as an investor that would have in the situation like that would be dismal, because we can't think that even though that the people talking shit probably never going to leave. They're probably not going anywhere, because investors don't understand how people get hooked in the sport. They just understand by the PR, the public relations, the communication that happens around the actual paper.
It's a zoo over there.
Oh, they have two little dogs, loudest thing in the world, bro. My girl's dogs are just freaking out all the time. But the biggest aspect, and what I was getting to before, is that we have these people that, even though that we had negativity and we've had problems and we've had these situations come throughout paintball, we still have people like Bart, we still have people like Randy that love the sport so much that Charlie Givens is a great example. Listen, the ML Kings organization has no financial backing. Right, we have no support. Yeah. The investors we have, Bunker King, GI Sports for Paint, DLX, they support us with gear, but there's not a single dollar from the sponsors going to teams like us. Only the top 5 teams in the organization, the whole professional organization, is actually getting funding directly from sponsors. It's there. It is there. People don't usually know that, but we're not, as the ML Kings is a lower tier team, even though we're making Sunday, we're not in a position where we're getting financial support from sponsors, right? So that means that we only have 2 options. We can get financial support from sponsors outside of paintball, which is very difficult, right? Because we don't make money off paintball, we all have full-time jobs. It's not really easy to go out there and sell the ML Kings.
Connor's got to get that like Pantene sponsorship, man.
We've been trying to, we've been tagging them in everything. We've been tagging them in everything. We're like, come on, Pantene. I mean, $50,000, we're good. Like, that's all we need. It's a drop in a bucket for you. Come on, guys.
Yeah.
You got that all day.
To another, the dude's got some good lettuce, man.
That's what I'm saying. I was telling him that he probably should be wearing a paintball mask in the shower, cleaning his hair, with like 6 Pantene bottles just placed all around him. Just be like, you know what's up. You know what I mean?
I'm clipping this and sending this to Pantene. That's it.
Please. Because, it's – again, I run a marketing agency. I look at these trends and I look at these positionings of businesses all the time. This is a gold mine, dude. People don't get it. Mm-hmm. Listen, you have a podcast here. Go make some T-shirts. You have T-shirts made? You got a Shopify store?
That's
what I'm
size
talking
you
about.
need.
We gotta get. Yeah, that's next up.
Next.
We need a store.
Listen. Anybody, okay? And this is a little bit of announcement. I'm going to give a little shout out, right? And I hope Tom Martinez doesn't hate me for this, but I was sick and tired. We actually got sponsored by Weapons this year with Tom Martinez, and love the guy to death. Absolutely love all the material he makes, from pants, jerseys, soft goods. It's absolutely incredible. But I've been working on a business for 2 years now. I've been working on a soft good paintball business for 2 years. I found the facilities overseas where they make paintball products. And this right here, this is Hug. Hug is a Danish term for excellent, loving living, right? A state of living where you're in complete bliss. That's what Hug stands for, right? So we have Hug. This is going to be Hug Athletics, right? Hug Athletics. We got these are just soft goods that come out. Everything is made for athletes. The whole back of this thing is 100% mesh. The biggest thing that we want to do is that every team that we sponsor, everyone that we work with, I will help them personally develop their own Shopify store. So if you're a team, so say you're Overshot paintball team, right? You have a team around the podcast. If you want to do that, you come in and say, okay, we want Hug gear, right? We want the pants, the jerseys. We have headbands. They're not Hormesis. Don't get me wrong. They don't have the style of Hormesis, but we are using revolutionary technology within our headband. So we use space foam instead of denim. The space foam allows for better breathability, and it's actually a better absorption.
Wasn't that Tress? I thought it was Tress Inc. or something like that.
Tress designed the headbands. We've now found a factory after 2 years that can actually design this quality of headband. Okay. Right? We're still going to do low cost. We're still going to find a way to be very efficient for the customer. These aren't going to be $200 headbands, right? They're going to be normal. We're going to go for $35 to $45 factory-based headbands. It just took us a long time to be able to find a way to mass produce them, right? So now we have the Tress headbands, which is space foam with actually every single one has an additional layer of mesh over top of the space foam. So it's not raw anymore. You can custom design the mesh over top. So you can have custom Overshot headband, Sweet. Full custom jerseys. They're awesome. No padding, but we have covering in the elbows plus full mesh in the back. And then we have full pants that are a combination of joggers and paintball pants. They have reinforced knees and reinforced linings in the legs, but they fit like joggers, right? Because everyone loves the joggers, but they just rip too much, unfortunately, right?
Right.
So we have reinforced joggers, and the whole point of the business is to have an efficient, low cost. We're making everything overseas because it's low cost, just full honesty, right. But the whole focus is customer service and support of paintball players for these products. That's a real thing. So
dude, this sounds sick.
We're super excited. 2.5 years, man. I've been working on it for fucking forever. But it's been a long journey, but we're super excited to finally release it. We just got the products in today. I had a meeting about 2 hours ago where they opened up the box. I saw the jerseys, the pants, the headbands, everything, bro. It's all getting shipped over next week. We start making content. Shopify store will probably go open in about 2 months, right? So the biggest thing that we want to do is, as a business, we want to give back to paintball teams. Every other team is getting used and abused. Is not taught how to be a team. It's not taught how to be an organization, right? We want to support them. Like if you sign up with Hug and you do pants, jerseys, headband combination, we'll help you build your own Shopify store, place your products on the Shopify store, and then we'll help you outsource your own t-shirt material. If you don't want the high quality one, just want cloth ones, we can help you with that as well. Fully custom for t-shirts, shorts, pants, jerseys, headbands, through and through. So you can then build your Shopify store and start making revenue as a team in an organization, right? Yeah. This gives you not only an actual business entity, which can allow you to get outside sponsors, it gives you true representation as a professional organization. So low cost gear, high cost customer service that we're going to support the guys in, and then position you as a professional organization. If you look at Infamous, they've done an incredible job. Just an impeccable job. I mean, Travis Lemansky, his business organization is incredible. Cali Rudolph, his marketing and his presentation of the business, impeccable. I mean, really looks beautiful. But they've cornered that market and just did it themselves, right?
Right.
They have the best gear. I can't even find a way to source those leggings. Those leggings, amazing, right? They don't have the best gear. Bunker King actually has the best gear. But they do have some high quality stuff, man. Yeah. But it shouldn't be a secret sauce. Paintball is all about like holding these little secrets. You know what I mean? Everyone has their little niche and their little thing. They want to hold their little piece of the pie and they don't want to share it. Bro, our pie is too small. That's the same thing I was saying before. The pie is too fucking small. I'm not trying to share your little ass pie. You can keep your little ass pie. I'm trying to build a big pie. I'm trying to build a situation where we have the potential as paintball patrons, as the beginners of this paintball thing, to make money off the entire world, to represent ourselves to the entire world, to be bigger than this small little cake that we've developed. And don't get me wrong, the cake's rich, tastes fucking amazing. I love every second of it, right?
Right.
But if I can make that same quality cake into a 5-layer, beautiful, elegant thing, the world can say that's amazing, then that's what I'm looking to do. I'm looking to make it larger than life.
Dude, right?
So,
This is awesome.
so kind of like speaking about like outside sponsors real quick. So something that, you know, my big goal is between event. So we're at event 3 is going to be this weekend for the TSSL. Between event 1 and event 2, my big goal was to get. So we have a stream. My big goal was to get, no matter what the deal was, you know, just for this event, get as many people on, get people on the stream, get things like that. And some people were, like Carbon sent three commercials real quick. Transfuse sent a bunch of commercials real quick because they already had them. So now, one of our big supporters is Dizana Sports. They do custom joggers and pants and all, like you were saying, jerseys, and, they do my pop-up tents. They do my T-shirts for
awesome.
to sell and things like that. They do some things for Overshot. We definitely need, I got to get better with it. I use Wix for all my websites, and, I'm kind of looking to get away from that. But either way, so one of the big supporters of going in, and I literally like put a post out, and I was like, who out of the and an email, because 400 players. Out of these 400 players, someone has to have a company. Mm-hmm. Someone has to have a company. So I'm like looking out, and shout out to these guys, Ferdinand Piano and Medify Air. Like, he stepped up. He stepped up big. He was like, yeah, like he's like, I don't have the commercial because it's a little too soon. Maybe next event. Let's make up a flyer, let's use a code. And the day I dropped the flyer, 2 people ordered an air purifier. And I was like, wow, like that day. And I was like, wow, okay, that's crazy. And, they get the sale.
How much is the air purifier?
Cheaper. I get a little bit of money out of it. And then,
how much is the air purifier?
So it's depending. Yeah, it's $150, and depending on, but that's for the small units. So like, if you're getting the one for your school, that could be a $500 unit. You know what I mean? Because it's more square footage. So like the $150 one, or you can get an $80 one. Like, they got.
Okay, so let me ask you a question. How many people on average view your stream?
I think the day of is like 3,000, and then eventually it's like 10,000.
Okay. You don't know. So this is data.
Right? I could go find it, but like I don't have it off the top of my head.
No, it's okay. It's okay. The reason I was asking is I wanted to know what your conversion rate was. I want to know the success of putting an ad on your TSXL video was. That's a huge factor, right? If I look at impressional data, from like let's say Facebook or Instagram, right? The amount of impressions I have to get to actually close a job, it's not 1 in 3,000. 3,000 is, for a $150 air purifier, it's probably going to be a CAC, a cost per acquisition of, I'm going to say off the rip, $60 to $70 the first time you advertise, because usually the more times you do it, the more impressions you get, the more average consistent sales you get, right? So first initial touch point, you're looking at maybe $60, $70, which on Facebook is going to cost you on a conversion campaign probably around 3. I would have to look at the numbers, but you're not looking. You're looking at a cost every single platform, right? The whole thing that paintball is not good at. We don't think, so let me backtrack a little bit. Everything that you're saying, you're talking about a representation of the people watching you to outside sponsors, right? The first question is talking about outside sponsors. How do we get more of these, right? The problem is that we sell paintball as paintball. Outside sponsors don't care about paintball. Outside sponsors don't care about paintball. Outside sponsors have, just like we talked about earlier, one goal: customer acquisition. I need new customers. That's the only thing I care about, right? So whatever you're offering me, how does that bring me new customers? That's all I want to know. That's my end result. So if I come and tell them, if you have sponsors on there, you're actually getting sales, which you're actually getting sales on first touch point, which is huge. Not if I go run a TV ad, if I go run a random TV ad, it's going to take me on average 8 to 13 touch points per customer to get a sale. Each touch point has a cost. Each touch point has a conversion factor to it. So what we're looking to think about is, as a community, what do we offer to outside sponsors? What is our value to offer? Our value is impressions. Our value is not just low engagement impressions. It's very, very high engagement impressions. So there's a lot of communities that do this. There's a lot of people that make magazines or direct mail that do this. They'll see a group of people. They'll see a group of houses. I mean, you guys have this in the Northeast. I know it for a fact. You'll have community newspapers, right? Yeah. You'll have a guy that walks around, he'll see a community and go, wow, it's a real affluent community. There's a lot of money here. A lot of people over here have money. And I can look up the average house property. It's over $500,000. I got X amount of houses. So I have X amount of impressions in the area. I take all that information. These are the people that I can touch. This is how many people that I can touch with the advertisement. And I take those numbers and then I go and I start calling all the local businesses and say, hey, I can make a publication that touches this many people of this many demographic, and this is how much it costs. And that's every direct mail company. That is every magazine company. That is everybody out there selling their advertising spots for anything else in the world. This is TV. This is radio. This is how they sell themselves. Okay. So the problem with paintball is that most of us, even I don't know how Tom pitches it. I wish I really did, and I have no idea. But I'm assuming from just the response that we've got, Tom goes and says, we have a paintball tournament going on, and we would love for you to sponsor. I would never say paintball. I would walk into the Hilton and say, hey, on average, we have 7 structured events throughout the U.S. every single year. Or I'm sorry, we have 6 structured events around the U.S. every single year. These structured events bring on average X amount of people. These X amount of people look like this. They are a demographic of expendable income, because you have to have paintball.
Yep.
Right. They have expendable income. They're from this age range. They're from these parts of the world. APPA has all this fucking data.
Yep.
Yeah.
APPA has all of it. This is the type of consumer profile that we have. This is how many people we have. This is how much money I can bring you, is what I'm saying. Right. What is it worth to you? And that would be my question. What is it worth to you? Do you want to sponsor this? Is it worth nothing? Okay, thank you. Have a good day. I'll go talk to the next guy. Somebody's going to see value in this.
Right.
How much is it worth? Right. I would love to see Tom at every single event, and even you. Okay, so I would love to do it for. Do you hold the TSXL at the same field every single time?
Yep. Yes.
Okay, so you can now go, you take that one geographical location. I would take a 20-mile radius. And in that 20-mile radius, you want to think about what your consumers are influencing. Your consumers, the people that come into TSXL, are influencing restaurants. They're influencing hotels. They're influencing rental cars, possibly, if they're traveling in, right? They're influencing any type of supermarkets or any type of grocery stores in the local area, right? Anything that we would normally pay for while we're at the event, which is basically every fucking commodity you can think of in the local area as paintball players, right? You then can walk to them and say, hey, I'm a local event holder. I hold this many events every single year. These are my type of people. This is how many people normally show up. We would love to push these people your way. And do an advertisement. I have 3 packages. My first package will get you a small banner on our live webcast. Our second package gets you the live banner on the webcast. Plus, we put a nice big physical banner at the event that you'll see on the webcast the whole time. Plus, everybody walking around will see it, right? And then the third package will get you a promotional flyer or a discount piece within our welcome packet, the banner, the live, and we're going to give you a TSXL t-shirt. and we'll support you and we'll give some stuff to your actual business. First package is 500, second package is 1,000, third package is $5,000. Which one would you like? Yeah, and that's it. And then that guy goes, oh, we're not interested in anything. Sweet. There's 5,000 businesses around this area that I will do it instead of you. Bye. I'll have a good day. I will find somebody. And you're going to find people that need to do it just to write off on taxes by the end of the year.
Yeah.
It's marketing dollars. You know what I mean? And that could be your closing pitch. The problem is we don't pitch it like that. We pitch it as paintball players because the sport's so freaking amazing. We love it so much. We just say paintball, paintball, paintball. Right?
Exactly.
We have to pitch it the right way. Just like we started this conversation with the Kings and Gladiatori, right? We have to play the right way. I believe that the sport and the game should be played in a certain way that keeps it very entertaining, right? They dunk in basketball for a reason, right? They cheer and celebrate after a goal in soccer for a reason, right? Yeah. Every single sport has an aspect of entertainment that they are striving for. They're trying to do every single time, right? We have the same thing in paintball. It's bunkering people. That is our entertainment. We need to bunker more people. That's all I would say. We need to bunker more people, you know?
Facts.
And we also need to learn how to pitch paintball correctly and a sales process and the conversation. And when we talk to random people and they have no idea what we do, we have to learn how to pitch this game the right way. Otherwise,
we need more marketers. We need more salespeople. We can't be, you know, and like you said, Tom does what Tom does, and he does a pretty good job. But I think that it needs to come onto us that we need more salespeople. We need more marketers because, like, I don't know, you can't have the same old, like, you know what I'm trying to, like,
well,
I don't know.
The one thing that as a patron, like I was saying earlier, we're all marketers of the sport.
Yep.
It's too small. You know what I mean? There's not so many touch points. There's not so many people talking about paintball. I mean, we have TV doing it a little bit now. You know what I mean? We got some TV shows that throw paintball in there. We got some movies that throw paint. Those are touch points. Showing people paintball. But each one of us as players have the potential to put multiple millions of touch points out every single week, every single month. Just telling people about paintball, promoting it, and getting it bigger.
You're right. You realize you make a post of your gun. Oh, at the field this weekend, see you guys there. Like, that's marketing. You just did marketing for that loader, that gun, that tank, that.
How about you know? I mean, there's another thing too that, you know, and so unfortunately, a Long Island player passed away, and that's, you know, never a good thing or anything like that. But what I heard came out of it is, what, you know, the guy raced motorcycles, and one of the things that came out of it is his friend ended up going out and buying a gun. And listen, I wanted to like, you know, his good friend told me, one of his good friends told me, Justin, and Justin was like, yeah, I wish the guy told me first. I would have tried to help him out, maybe help him out with a deal or whatever. The guy's like, yeah, I just like went to the store and like I felt like I needed to do this and buy a gun, and like, you know, I'm gonna go play paintball, and I'm like, and then, you know,
it's
Justin
a sad,
was like, yo, you know,
sad version of a touch point, but definitely a touch point. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. So like, I don't know, that just kind of like popped up into my mind, but like, you know, you never know what's gonna turn someone over or anything like that, and just, you know, be a good ambassador, and, you know, hey, I'm going out. It takes 10 seconds. Hey, I'm going out to the field. You know what I mean? And listen, I'm not the biggest marketing person, but if you make it a reel, the reels do better than anything else, and a lot more people see reels on Instagram than anything. So
yeah, you know,
make it a reel.
TikTok is huge. Reels on Instagram is huge. If you want some marketing representation advice, I would recommend you post on TikTok immensely. If you post 4 times a day, you'll hit their algorithm no matter what. So you can get high levels of engagement on TikTok because it's organic and there's not that much content in it. Instagram just released Reels about 2 months ago, so that's still new and fresh. They're looking for content there to trying to fight against TikTok. But the best touch point is when you go to a restaurant and you sit down with your team and the
I
waitress
remember you
goes,
saying this too.
yeah,
The
I said this.
restaurant's the key.
Yeah, I said this, and it's funny. I've been pitching the same thing. And when I was a fat little kid, no one listened to me at 13, 14 years old. 28 now, and I guess I'm decent at paintball, so it's going somewhere. So it's the same process we've been seeing for decades, man. The reason soccer is so big is not because of the soccer players. The reason hockey is so big, I've used hockey and football as an example. I've been going to a Bucks game. I went to a Bucks game and I went to a few Lightning games, trying to study how they develop their structure to be so engaging. To pay $300 a ticket for a playoff game to go see Lightning and pack the freaking from the bottom to the nosebleeds, packed to the brim, right? How do they do it? It has nothing to do with the actual team playing, right? A lot of people affiliate themselves with a love for the game. And like, there's a lot of people that sit at home and watch the game and they love a certain team, but it all stems, and I can almost guarantee it all stems from being in that stadium. Mm-hmm. Because if you go to that stadium one time, do you know who treats the players larger than anybody else, who makes the competitive players in these sports the biggest deal?
The fans.
The commentators.
Okay.
The fans feed off of it. They love it. Right. But think about it. If you go to, let's use a hockey game. You're watching the hockey game. It's completely silent, right? They're going at it. Hockey is exciting too. I'm not a hockey player. I got a lot of respect for hockey players, but like hockey is a very exciting sport. It's going
lifelong hockey fan. I've been a hockey fan since I've been like 5 years old.
Exactly. So it's an awesome sport to watch. It really is, because it goes back and forth. It's high intensity, a lot of hits, a lot of shots. It's going, right? But you can watch the game and there's oohs and there's ahs when you're watching the game. It's exciting. But even hockey, which is a very exciting game, as soon as the actual gameplay stops, does the stadium go silent?
Yeah, no.
No, because in paintball it does.
You're right.
Every paintball match, the match stops for a second, dead silence. Every other sport, as soon as there's a null, the announcer lets you know that you are watching the coolest fucking thing in the world, right? The music blows, lights go. I mean, fireworks are going off. People are freaking the fuck out. No game has been played, just to pump them up for the game. When you leave that, right? My dad's I think I mentioned this in the first one in episode 5, but like my dad's a child therapist, right? And he's a late therapist. He was like a restaurant owner and a bit of a dickhead all throughout me growing up. And then he finally he was just like, he got old enough where he's like, I can't do physical work anymore. I got to work with my brain. So he became a therapist at like 50, 45-ish, right? So I learned a lot from him recently on like psychological implications that we don't understand. It's going to happen no matter what. No matter how hard we try as human beings, it's going to happen to our brain. And one thing that we don't understand is that we are not choosing to love the game. We are being implemented to love the game from outside influences. And if we really think about it as just the 3 individuals here and anybody that's listening to this, there is somebody that influenced you to love this game because they love this game. Right? You came on and you found a level of connection that got you interested, but the love for the sport came from something else. So love of the sport usually comes from somebody working with you, or you winning and someone congratulating you, or something along the lines of you being influenced in the game in a matter of way that made you fall in love with this sport. Every single sport is doing this regularly. If you watch ESPN, they're highlighting games. You have a whole channel. You have a multi-billion-dollar industry. If you don't even count the players, that just hype up players.
Yeah.
That's all they do. Their whole job is to make the sport look bigger than just the sport, to make the superstars. It is designed to implement an ideology that these people are bigger than life. These people are better than normal people. We're watching gladiators in a coliseum. We're watching superheroes in real life. No matter how you want to position it, the people that make it a big deal are the ones that are selling the athletes. Tom Cole is that guy. Bart Yakimek is that guy. I just don't know if they know what they're selling yet.
Yeah.
In my eyes, I think they think they're selling an event. They're not selling an event. They're selling athletes.
People.
Right.
Yeah.
You're selling gladiators in a coliseum. You are selling a fucking show. Sell the show. Right. And if I was Tom, man, I've been saying this for a while. If I was Tom, and I had the expendable, he doesn't. If I was Tom and he had more expendable resources, I would love if there was a Bud Light game of the day, or a move of the day. Bud Light move of the day. Players getting $500.
Right.
If I walk into two pro pits, right, and it's Houston Heat versus X Factor, which we know is like a grudge match every single time, and I tell Randy, I tell Randy Stanzak, I'm like, yo, poker man, $500. You get to highlight this game. You do something crazy. You're getting $500. Whoever has the best move at the end of this game that I can go send to ESPN and make it look like our sport's amazing, I will give you $500 because it's worth it because I can sell it to the outside sponsors. I'll make way more than $500 from it.
Right.
Give me a show. Give me a fucking show. I will pay you to give me a show. That's all we need to sell. We need to sell the show. We need to sell the game. If you sell the game of paintball, you get people amped up. People that don't know what it is will see other people loving it, selling it, and being enjoyed by it, and just it's how big it is by other people's perspective. They'll think it's a big deal. But if we keep thinking it's not a big deal, it's not a big deal.
Bro, I agree with like what you say so much. I can't even begin because I don't think and a lot of like older sports like baseball and stuff like that, people fall in love with the laundry. Like they're gonna love the Yankees for the Yankees. But paintball doesn't. First of all, with rotating teams, it's hard to keep a team in that long. But like,
tell me the Yankees don't rotate.
Well, but
rotate
I'm just
players.
saying,
You know what I mean?
they rotate players, but I mean, like the Yankees are never going to get kicked out of the MLB. You know what I mean? In paintball, unfortunately, the bottom team goes out every year, and a new team comes in.
But Impact's not going. Impact's never getting kicked out of the NFL or the NXL. You know what I mean? But that's the Yankees.
Right, but it just goes into
the Latin Saints are even going to get kicked out because like they got second the first event and they're good. They're good, baby.
I want to hear what you had to say.
Right, but I want to lean into the athletes more, not the laundry. You're so right. Like instead of putting on display so much Impact, even put display Justin Ravnikoff on display. Put fucking Yarber on display. Don't put the ML Kings on display. Show me what the fuck Kyle Berry's doing out there.
It's how they sold. First of all, the athletes need to want to be athletes, right? It's don't get me wrong. Everyone in pro right now is good. I mean, we're talking about good. There might be a select few that are fighting their way up, but you don't touch that stage unless you know how to play, right? That top level U.S. professional paintball is the most difficult paintball game you could possibly play. There's nothing that touches it. That being said, what's a good example? When I like an athletic Chad George. Okay, Chad George is incredible. He's a great paintball player, and athletically, he is still athletically incredible. But if it's Chad George today at mid-30s, the same Chad George is 25. Chad George at 25 high dived over lanes. Chad George at 25 he still throws himself, but he throws himself perfectly. I've seen old Chad George throw, flip, roll, and go. Right. Brandon Short dive into Dorito and blow his shoulder out, put it back in, still win the point World Cup 07, right?
That's great.
You had the same guys that are here today at an older age that cannot afford to get hurt. They seriously can. 35 years old, you're a full-grown man. You might even have kids in a family. You got work. Totally understand you not hurting yourself. Right. Totally get it. But you at 25 was fucking nasty. You at 25, I think we're better than today. Maybe today you're smarter and you're shooting the young kids as they do stupid stuff. But athletically, do you think you now could beat you at 25 if you went toe-to-toe with you drilling all the time when you thought the game was more serious, when you were more athletic, when you were younger? I don't think it's comparable. It's very hard because we've seen it evolve so many ways over the years. But I don't think it's comparable to the fact that we need I pride myself in the Kings in the fact that we support up and coming players, right? Last year when we had that tryout, we picked up 5 players that never touched the pro field before ever. And most of them were ranked underneath D1 besides John Peterson. John Peterson was the only one ranked semi-pro. Everyone else was D2 or lower. Those players are now regular Sunday players. They're regular Sunday pro players, right? I believe that is completely capable with any 18-year-old kid that says, fuck everything else, I want to be a professional paintball player. You can be Sunday pro player, right? The differentiation is the limit that we push it to. The guys that are top level right now over the age of 30 have been doing it so long. They're amazing. They're great at it. But I don't think they believe it's going to be something amazing anymore. I think they lost a spark just from watching it firsthand. And I hope I'm wrong. I hope to God I'm wrong. But I don't think they have it. And there's a young blood needs to come in and take it. Like, I am so fearful for Dynasty. I mean, I never want to see the dragon die, but who is Greenspan training?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Who's the next Greenspan? Who's the next Yosh? Who's the next Frazier? Right? They have some guys in there, but it's not.
It's not a lot. A couple.
The problem is their names are escaping me, and that's the biggest issue.
Like
Damian.
Arena and
Damian.
Mikey,
Yeah, but some of them are even like Arturo's a young guy on the team, but he's an old guy. You know,
Right.
But you can tell they're not. They're there. They're winning. They're doing it. But I can see progression in players. I can watch how a player evolves. Look at little Carter Donaldson. He's my best example. That's an SRP kid.
Right.
I found him when he was unranked, untouched 4 years ago, right? And he's an athletic phenom. He's small, so he has an advantage. But you watch him play. He hits a shot. He rolls his mat. He talks. He rolls his gun. He understands the game. He understands the situation. Smart fucking kid. Mm-hmm. You know, you have Connor Kelly, 19 years old. Right? Shouldn't be able to go toe-to-toe with these guys, going toe-to-toe every single time and usually smacking some kids on the way, right? And it's simply because my expectation of those kids is outrageous. I tell both of them, you will get $1 million contracts in paintball. I'm going to enforce a mentality in both of you where you will be a professional paintball player, unlike anything you've ever seen, and I'm just hoping I don't break them along the way. You know what I mean?
Right.
And out of all the kids I've pushed, those are the two unbreakable ones. That's the scary thing. You get kids like that. If I had 20 people like that, if I had 20 kids like that, everybody would be scared. You know what I mean? There's a lot of potential with the up and coming in this sport, but it starts with Greenspan saying, I need a successor. I need to hand train a young kid to be me. I can't keep all these secrets. I'll at least tell one kid, build up the one guy. And I see the guys on their team. I don't know if they're doing it. I think they're too busy. They're doing clinics. They're going all around. And the young kids are still starstruck and just happy to be on the team. Blake Yarber is a great example of someone that actually dove in 100%, but he came in at a time of Dynasty was unsuccessful. And they had to evolve Blake. Now Blake is incredible, right?
Phenomenal, yeah.
Yeah, I don't see.
I think Blake came from playing pump or something.
No, he played with the Pirates, and he there's like, you know, you guys should really contact Blake. Blake is an incredible guy. I've gotten him some influencer advertising that he's been doing great with. I mean, the dude is really amazing. You should contact him and get on the podcast. He would love to be here. Not many people know his story. So he has a really good story, and I think you guys would be incredible to hear how he's developed. So, but he's a great example of like when you actually care and put time back into it. Like in my mind, Dynasty, if you want to be a Dynasty, you really want to be a Dynasty, win pro, semi-pro, D2, D3, all at the same event.
Yeah,
same event.
Have teams in all the divisions.
Exactly. You want to be a Dynasty? That's a fucking Dynasty.
That's hard.
That is hard.
That's hard. That's hard, man.
So is winning 4 events in a row. That's fucking unheard of hard. And they still did it.
No, I know.
So
but that's managing 10 people. What you're saying is managing 50 people.
Yep. That's what I'm expecting. That's the difference. Is that people right now are expecting Dynasty to win an Event 5, and it's an extraordinary thing. I don't have that expectation of Dynasty. If Dynasty wins Event 5, fucking awesome. Run it. I hope Tom Cole sells it. That's all that matters. That's all that matters. If they win Event 5, they make a little money in their pocket. They beat up all their friends that they've been beating up for the last decade, right? And then Tom Cole has another sales piece. That's all that fucking matters. And if he doesn't sell with it, what does it really matter? We're too small. What does it really matter? It affects the 5,000 of us that actually come to the event. That's all that matters. I want them to affect 1 million people. I want them to do so good that they're affecting all of California. That Southern Cali has a school that's interested in putting in the Dynasty program to help their kids be more fundamentally sound, secure, and have less fear in the world coming into 2025. That's what I want to see out of Dynasty. That's what I would love to see out of
every real legacy.
A legacy.
Yeah, because push the envelope.
Exactly. Push the envelope of the development of the sport, not just the development of the game itself. because they're not. They made the game. They made this. What we play today is designed by Dynasty players. And the way that we play off of this game is designed by the players that came after Dynasty. The roll-off was basically, the first time I heard it was Archie, right? To be able to lock into a lane, be containing someone, they put you in and you just roll back a little bit and shoot the gap in front of them. The first time I heard that was Archie. I played for 10 years before I ever heard that term. Right? Intellectual value of singular players have evolved the game over time, and it continue will evolve, right?
Oh, yeah.
But I don't think again, the main sales point, I don't think we understand what we're selling, and I don't think we understand what a true value somebody is in the paintball industry. Somebody that like who can I think of right now? Tom Fox. I don't know if you guys know Tom Fox, but here in the state of Florida, he's ran the JITS organization, been part of Damage for a very long time. That guy
yeah.
He has immense value. Why does he have immense value? Constantly bringing kids in.
Yeah.
He brings more.
When you said his name, I know what you're talking about. When you said JITS, I was like, oh, I've heard of that.
Yep. Yeah. The JITS team down here in Florida, they've been up and down divisions, have been very good. But that guy, Johnny, I mean, both of you guys, again, with the podcast, you're bringing value. With a league, you're bringing immense value. You're bringing revenue to paintball. That's actual value. You want to put numbers on something? Put how much numbers you're actually bringing into the sport. That's a big deal, right? Dynasty, I feel, is the same way because they're not in the position to do it. I don't even know if they even care to do it, but they have the most potential.
Right.
They have the most leverage. It would be the easiest for them. Like you're talking about controlling 50 people. Greenspan could snap his fingers and be like, listen, and 50 people will listen because he has the reputation. Yep. Somebody that has no reputation and tries to get 50 people to listen is very difficult. Right? They have the positioning to leverage their control and their power in the sport of paintball to do amazing, incredible things. Guys, I've literally been talking for an hour and a half straight. I'm sorry. Yeah. Do you have any questions or anything?
No, dude, you're great. You're fucking great, dude. I love talking
to you. Man, I mean, dude,
I wish I could not agree with you so we can argue a little bit, but I agree with you too much.
It's just the stuff I think about the stuff every single day. Again, like I said, when I came on the first podcast, I built a marketing agency and I work with people every single day. I have no idea what paintball is to get the monetary value I need to come back into paintball and hopefully do something amazing with the sport one day. I think I still have I'm 28, so about 7 years. About 7 years until I will, worst comes to worst, pull out a fat loan, start my own league, build a field, do it all myself. You know what I mean? But until then, I will continue to try to give as much value back. Even then, I'll continue to try to give as much value back as physically possible into the sport just because I love the damn thing so much. I can't get away from it. And I think you guys are the same way. You don't sit here.
I'm on that same wavelength, man. People have been calling me like the Long Island Savior. Until I have my own field on Long Island, I've tried enough with both Long Island fields to do whatever. I'll come back one day. Listen, just New York, Long Island's hard, man. It's hard. I tried to get.
You're not even here anymore. You're not even here anymore.
All right. Well, I'm in Maryland now, but listen,
I'm going to be honest. Long Island would not be hard if you got the support of Long Island. You're talking about some of the most financially affluential people in that New York State area. If you cared more about bringing the community together underneath a paintball field than starting a paintball field for the paintball community, I think it'd be really easy for you. You start going to town halls. You start meeting people that have multi-million dollars. Dude, I was meeting a client. We got lights in Staten Island, and I was there in Staten Island and Long Island for a little bit, just seeing the area. I stopped at one of his buddy's house. We're hanging out. We're talking for a little bit. He is just casually joking around about his 1.2 million in Robinhood. Casually joking around like it was nothing, dude. Like the amount of financials that sit in Long Island, the potential you have within the community is huge. It's just, as paintball players, we don't look at that, man. We're doing this for paintball. We love paintball. We do it all for this just community. But that's the point I've been trying to get across for this, last hour and a half is that let's make the world our community. Let's do better as a community to bring in the world, to bring in everybody, to make this game larger than it is today. My dream is for, I'm 28 years old. Hopefully soon I'll have a wife and kids. I'm engaged and everything, right? So wife and kids and a family. My dream is that when I tell my child about my history in paintball, I can end the conversation with, and if you try this hard and you work this hard, you can make these friends, travel around the world like I do, and now make $1 million contract.
Yeah,
that's my fucking goal. You want to talk about a real goal in life? Yeah, taking over paintball and helping it grow is all that. That's a fucking goal. That I care about that more than anything, because this sport itself delivers such a well-balanced training in life. I've played other sports, and it can make you very egotistical to be genetically blessed. Your basketball, you're tall, you're fast, and you're the man now because you're tall and fast. No, you still could be a scared little boy. Your soccer, you're really, really quick and you're agile, and you can get past everybody, and you seem very balanced and light on your toes. So you become the man now. And no, you could still be a scared little boy or girl, right? Every other one of these sports, hockey might be an exception because you really have to have some fight in you to do hockey. But every one of these other sports, you can get these genetically based or even effort-based advantages that doesn't portray to you being a human being that can fight against fear. And that's the biggest thing, man. That is, if we can fight fear and just accept happiness and love our lives consistently, it makes life so much better across the board. And I've never found a sport that can directly correlate to fighting fear like paintball. I do. It's a scary game to everybody else in the world. And we got a podcast, scars, and and a paintball. We got so much behind it that the fear of getting shot is gone. I mean, so gone. It's not even a big deal, right? Even like, I haven't played since last weekend. So when I go out Saturday, the first time I got shot, it's going to hurt. You know what I mean? I'm going to be like, I'm going to flinch a little bit when I get shot, right? By Sunday afternoon, I can take 4 to the face without even like flinching an inch, right? Won't even know. But the first shot Saturday, I'm going to feel again. But I'm going to remember that even with pain, even with problems, even with the situation that I'm in, I've done this before. I can succeed past this. It's just getting shot. It's not a big fucking deal. Right? It's not a big deal. And I think that's such a learning lesson for life. I've taken young kids and I've trained them using paintball, and they become these fucking extraordinary human beings because of the lessons you can teach just with the sport. And I think that's not portrayed and sold correctly.
No, you're so right. You're so right, dude.
Dude, you got to argue with me a little bit.
I know, dude. I can't. I agree with what you're saying. You're right. Fuck. I'm sorry. I wish I could tell you everything you think is stupid, but I can't.
Let's get to a different, like, normal topic where people can, I'm not like talking about the deep empathies and emotional connection. Latin Saints, okay? They ain't kicked out of pro or what?
Yeah, what's up? Well, what's up with Greg, dude? Greg is just like, I hate you.
It's a new team. Dude, it's a new team now, so whatever.
Why were you so mean to Greg? Did you tell him that he sucks and that's why he left? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, no, but, actually, you're not joking at all. I wanted Greg to be better. Greg's a great paintball player. Greg Montalvo is fundamentally extremely sound. His biggest problem is that he didn't care about his value of his life in the mid and closing of the game. The dude caught paintballs. He was really good at catching paintballs in the game. 3-on-3, we're tied, right? Like, say it's like a match where we got 6 minutes left. It's 3-on-3, and Greg is one of the 3. And next thing you know, we're putting together a game plan. We're figuring out the bodies. Greg catches one. Now it's a 2-on-3, and we lose the point. And it would happen way too often. And listen, I love Greg. His YouTube page is great, How to Play Paintball. If you haven't seen it, check it out. You can learn how to use squeegee. You know what I mean? Great. Great, didn't know.
He was good. He was a guest too on here. We had a nice conversation. He was very cool.
He is very cool. I like Greg a lot, and honestly, his How to Play Paintball, I made a joke, but it is a great YouTube page. He does a good job. The biggest thing with Greg is like I presented, and this is a big thing with all players out there. I presented a reality to him. I showed him like, hey man, listen, I'm not the best paintball player, right? But I'm just the asshole that I'm not going to be nice to you because I want you to be better. That's the type of guy I am. Right. So when I tell you you're dying mid-game, you're not closing the point, stop dying mid-game and close the fucking point. Right. And it didn't get across to him. So he didn't get playing time. That's how it correlated. Like, it was very hard for Charlie to trust him because he couldn't close the points out. He kept on dying early. So Charlie didn't trust him. Boom, he didn't get enough playing time. Next thing you know, I find out he's, he contacted the Latin Saints. He kind of went that route because he wasn't getting the playing time, and he went and played for them. I hope Gregory, who's also our supporter at Lux, is also the owner of the Latin Saints. He is the absolute man, not Greg Montalvo, Greg Tutton. Yeah. He's the absolute man. I've been talking to him back and forth, selling the Luxes and stuff like that. And we're talking about Greg, and I even told him, I go, listen, I hope the team does good. I hope you guys stay in pro. The one team that I see that honestly should get relegated is before they picked up Zach Hill is the DMG guys. Yeah. The DMG guys, I love Shane Howe and I love Ivan Gonzalez. Those two are great. But that rest of the organization, Ivan's a man, dude. Ivan's an absolute man. I should have picked him up when he came to our tryouts. I should have. He'd been nasty now. If he could have came down to Florida consistently and trained with us, he'd been disgusting now. But the rest of that team, like some of those kids played on the excessive line during the Dallas Invitational, or not Dallas, but the Dallas Minor, right?
Right.
And they were playing with excessive and semi-pro, and I heard they were shooting to the pits, just doing horrible, unethical, bad paintball stuff. You know what I mean? And I knew that from when we practiced them before. That team and that organization is not ran professionally. And I don't think it's because of Dave Baines. Dave Baines is a credible professional. I think it's because the players and the organization, right? Yeah. So if any team they should get relegated, it should be the DMG guys. But with Zach Hill's a nasty player. So they're going to be – and I heard there's some crazy stuff going on at the California Minor where we might have some players flip-flopping some teams to make sure
drama. I like it.
Right? So make sure the Latin Saints do get relegated, but all they have to do is win 2 matches. Latin Saints win 2 matches at a single event.
2 events.
If they win 2 matches in one event, if they win 2 matches, actually they looked at the win-loss percentage. I don't think it's even possible unless Ironman and DMG stunt out. Latin Saints won't get relegated, which means won't get relegated. Yeah, the Latin DMG or Ironman need to make Sunday, and if one of them make a Sunday,
I think Ironman been around long enough.
I have, especially with the new master. Keith DeVitt is an awesome guy, but the one kid you really should look out for on Ironman is Kyle Nicolau.
Kyle Nicolau.
Oh, Nicolau. Oh, the kid is
man. I've seen him play. So I had a not open, but I had semi-pro, and I had TSXL, and it was Bay State Bandits. So Brett came in with a pretty good team, so semi-pro roster was you're allowed 2 pros. So I think it was him and Sean Wyatt at the time was pro. So it was them 2, Nicolo, Sebastian, and so they all came in. They ended up getting first. The Brooklyn Bears played, and now half of the semi playing pro on Seattle Thunder. Brawl came. And then local teams, New Jersey, I've got Wrecking Crew they're now New York Wrecking Crew, and
yeah, Jesters, I think that one too, right?
No, the Droogs.
Oh, you're right.
The Droogs. So Kyle came up to play it. So I had one event, and dude, it was sick. Like, watch. Oh, Harrison Fry.
Yeah.
So Sean Wyatt was semi-pro. So Harrison Fry and Brett Messer were the 2 pros on Bay State Bandits. But yeah, Kyle was there playing. Kyle Nicolau, he was hunting.
The kid can play really well. I played with him on Preferred Mob back in 2019, right before I got in the Kings. And him, Matt Sebastian, Kyle Correa. Yeah, Kyle Correa. Those 3 players were stunners. I mean, I would love to see Matt in pro. He deserves to be pro. He's a little bit of a hothead, but he has the qualities of a pro player, and he can be up there. But a lot of the Northeast guys, man, and this is a big thing about the Northeast, if I could translate anything to the guys that really watch your podcast up there in the area, is that if you fucking love paintball, right? Oof. If you love paintball, fucking love paintball. When you talk about it, when you talk to paintball friends, love it. You want to be a shit talker? Listen, I'm from New York. You want to talk shit? I'll go toe-to-toe with you all fucking day, right? It didn't work very well when I got down to Florida and everyone was pretty soft out here, Okay. I couldn't talk the same way. I learned how to readjust my language. But in the upstate area, we have this ability to just kind of banter with each other, right? Yeah. But that banter leads to negative paintball talk. We need to banter with each other, but talk paintball up like literally like it's our mom. Like it would be disrespected if someone said something bad about it. You know what I mean? That if we can change that attitude, you have so many paintball patrons in the Northeast. I mean, paintball started there. Literally, the origin of paintball is the Northeast, right? The first ever World Cup was in New York, right? It is the origin of paintball. We need to have positive support all around. California is great. Maybe it's just the Cali vibe and they chilling, they loving, whatever it is. Texas guys are a little bit quiet, but they're doing their home thing internally. They're very family oriented. The Florida boys, the Florida boys are awesome. I'll tell you what, I don't know if I'm a Florida boy or a New York boy anymore, but I straight up the Florida guys are really, they're just very supportive. We got 8, 9-year-old little girls out there on the fields on Sundays, just picking up guns, walking out, shooting, playing around. Everyone's helping her. Like there's support. There's families that come and literally cook on Sunday to help support the guys there. I mean, there is so much camaraderie within the organization. It's beautiful to see. It really is. And every place needs that. Like I said, this last hour of conversation has been based off the one thing that I want to get across in this podcast, which is that we as an organization need to understand this sport is too small and we should all want it to be bigger. And the only way for that to do that is to be positive patrons of the sport everywhere we go.
Everywhere. Yeah.
Everywhere.
Everyone's a marketer. Like you said, you take a picture of your gun that you went out, that's your tank, that's this, and say something nice about it. So when whoever searches that hashtag, it's positive stuff being said. Not. I
mean, that would be above and beyond. Ooh. Yeah, that'd be above and beyond. You know what I mean? Would be even better is that if you spend $200 or $100 every weekend on Saturday and Sunday playing paintball, Monday morning when you're on fucking Facebook, don't talk shit about it.
Yeah.
Right. That's probably the first step is like, just to let you know, dumbass, if you're talking shit about paintball and you're spending money on paintball, you're calling yourself stupid.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know that, but like you're also that guy. So how about we all as a unit just say, listen, this sport's awesome. We know it's awesome. We know it can be better. So let's support it to be better. Right. I think it's going to take roughly around 5 years. Let's all have a 5-year goal. Let's not expect tomorrow. Let's have a 5-year goal. Let's have a 5-year goal to get people paintball on ESPN. I think if everyone looked at this as a 5-year goal to get it on ESPN, in 5 years would be on ESPN.
Right? Dude, I think you're so right. Bro, I think this is where we end it because I smell chicken and I know you're hungry too. I know you smelled food.
Yeah,
so, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us. I apologize for my absence in the beginning. My computer crashed. We make it work. Kyle disappeared. He's back. And we'll catch all you guys on the next episode. Take it easy, guys.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.